Throughout the years in gaming, you come across certain franchises that you always associate with a single person. Yoko Taro for the Nier games, Kojima for Metal Gear, and Ronald McDonald for McDonald's Treasure Land Adventure. Yes, iconic people that others would have you believe, they did everything with the game. The writing, the programming, the music, when in fact, they probably went, hey, what if we gave him an eye patch? And then you have Remedy Entertainment, a game studio with a name that you think would make licensed kids games, one's based on a burger, but instead you find out that they make games like this.
Still housings of paranatural forces, but are more volatile and cannot be bound in the pure utilitarian sense. Got it?
Did she memorize this?
Okay, so that'll be $6.99. Were they serious? It cost that much? I can't tell them I don't have that money. Wait, isn't that the funny meme number? Yeah, odd is an understatement. Bizarre, maybe. I mean, that's to be expected when the company is in Finland. And what do I know about Finland?
Finland! Do you understand? I know Finland. They're neutral.
Actually, I don't know anything. I barely even know the country or region. The only experience I have with anything close to it is this art book I got from a Swedish guy. Oh, they like death. But with Remedy, the only thing I know about them was that for one of their first big games, they had someone's face used as the model for the character. And not just any face, but this face. And there's just so much to it. It's like a mix of angry, suspicious, mischievous, and a little bit constipated. And I kept seeing this guy's face everywhere. It was haunting me. And I thought, oh, they just hired some model for the facial capture.
Narrow your mouth. Lift your cheeks up.
He's
Squeeze your eyes.
real? So Remedy Entertainment, a studio from Finland that are well known for the action-packed Max Payne series, psychological thrillers Alan Wake and Control, and some game that like 2 people remember. Founded in 1995 in the lovely Finnish town of Espoo, the original team would make PC demos for a living. Yes, they would make demos to sell for money. I mean, heck, this was the 90s. You could sell anything for money. And when Wikipedia says, Second Reality may be considered one of the most influential PC demos ever, I would have to believe them.
I am not an atomic playboy.
And their first game at the new company was not an action thriller or psychological mind melt, it was a racing game. A racing game that would just not run well on my setup. Man, I love old games. I mean, come on, bro. At least try to stay on one monitor. And there you have it. The text was written by Sam Yavi. And now I can add that to the list of languages I don't know how to pronounce. So yeah, I think Sam knew that as well, and it's why he goes by Sam Lake now. Makes it much more easier for us non-Europeans to go, oh my god, it's Sam, a body of water. And it's kind of hilarious in that Sam didn't even start out in game design. Yeah, dude was out here vibing to English literature when his buddy went, hey, you're like a writer, aren't you? Write some stuff for our racing game. Oh boy, I sure can't wait to see what he wrote. Games in the 90s scare me. So after you create a character with the best faces to pick from, where it has a story mode and you have to sign up for races to win money, and it sure is a top-down racing game. Look, I have experience with these. I played Kirby's Air Ride, but man, do I not enjoy this, mostly because the map does not rotate with your character. So it's always confusing on where you should turn. Whenever a map gives me the option in game, I will always rotate it. And yeah, you just go through the labs trying to get first place, but if you don't, you actually don't get any money, which is sad, because money can buy things, like a landmine. And when you're signing up to a race, if you don't accept in time, they go, nah, you took too long, so the race is gonna start without you. Hey, anyway, why is this called Death Rally? He got turned into tomato sauce? Oh no, they killed Jimmy! It's not the worst game, mostly because it's free. I mean, who am I to be overtly critical of anything free? Man, air doesn't taste as good as it used to. And so they moved on in 2001 with Max Payne, and I'm running out of things to say when talking about that specific year. Well, Australia scored 31 goals against America and Samoa. And it was to be more action-focused, based on Hong Kong martial arts films with slow motion. And loving Sam's work on Death Rally, he was brought back as a writer, but not just that, they wanted to use real-world photos for the in-game textures, including face models, meaning this guy's face was used for Max Payne. Now the game itself is a mystery. Mostly because I can't buy the bloody thing. Hey, come on, Steve! Why is it off the store here? Why won't somebody take my money? But at least Humble Bundle had it. Oh, thank God, I'm poor again! And man, you know you're in a PC game when they give you so many settings to mess with. And starting it up.
And there it is!
And after downloading a patch to fix this, you can already see their style in the game. The story is dripping with this crime noir gangster New York energy, with comic panels using the real actors to depict the scenes. And it follows Max Payne, whose name tells you all you need to know. He's in tremendous pain after coming home and seeing his wife and baby murdered by criminals.
Well, your dive wasn't bad, but I just didn't believe you.
Outside, the mercury was falling fast. It was colder than the devil's heart, raining ice pitchforks as if the heavens were ready to fall.
Gee, I wonder if the writer studied English literature. I'm sorry, Eddie, the question's too hard for me. And the gameplay is third person, where you pick up guns and ammo and shoot the gangsters, rinse and repeat, with the main gimmick being the slow-mo, where holding down shift, you use this meter to slow down your jumps, making clearing out rooms so badass. And it's still crazy how good this game looks, with so much attention to detail, from you being able to turn on the water, to drinks coming out of a vending machine, to Max limping when he takes damage. There's a lot of technical marvel for a game over 20 years old, but I guess that's to be expected by people who made this. But the game can be a bit too much of the same kind of thing, like the cutscenes ooze this dark noir vibe, but it can be a bit much all the brooding and waxing poetry, while the gameplay is usually run through rooms and clear out enemies in a very similar fashion. It does start to feel a little repetitive at times. That being said, my god, the environments look so good!
So?
But my lady, I must.
My lord, no! I forbid you, this cannot be, this must not be!
But why, my love, why?
My lord, it is too dreadful, do not force me!
And all the detail, like I was stuck here for a while, not knowing where to go. Oh, surely no. They want me to break the glass? Me? Games did that back then? Wow, I'm stupid. And you pick up different weapons, though the ammo is always kind of limited, which added some challenge, but because it's a cool type of PC game, pressing F5 lets you save anywhere, meaning I could just go nuts trying this.
The password. John who?
Come on.
The stress was getting to me.
And it even remembers what you did in a level with the same enemies down when you walk back, the same environment, the same, oh, who left that there? And so the trail of revenge continues with more of New York's crime scenery. But what I want to know is, why are there so many mods for the game? And I'm not talking about the ones where you make your characters feel pain whenever they jog now, but they replace the world, setting the game in another franchise with their own story, and I can't get over how many they are. Star Wars Max Payne, Blade Runner Max Payne, James Bond Max Payne. There's only so many white guy names I can read out in a video. Sam Lake. And so after a more critically acclaimed sequel that didn't sell well, I wonder if that's going to be a reoccurring theme here. They made a new IP, Alan Wake, and this is Remedy at its finest, because it features a writer as the main protagonist. Yeah, I don't know, it's kind of a bold statement when you make the protagonist of your big Microsoft-funded game of the year with these other ones to feature a writer. Like, this is the scariest thing that could happen to him. And who do you think wrote the game? Oh, please be Ronald McDonald! And thus follows Alan Wake, who with his wife travels to Bright Falls to take a break from being a successful writer, but then gets whisked away.
To its ports I've been. To its ports I've been. Do you understand?
No.
Or after having that horrible dream, you find out things in the town don't seem to be right, as your wife goes missing and you're suddenly in a car crash and have no idea where she is, and in the darkness the most fiendish enemies come out. A man with an axe. Yes, all I knew about Alan Wake was that it's a horror game. My god, was everyone idiots? The only thing scary about this is that Alan will get a jump scare by an old lady, which is honestly more frightening than you think. And your combat is to shine the torch onto them to break their guard before finishing off with the gun. But you have a limited amount of batteries, meaning you can't just keep blinding everyone you see.
You wanna know where you can shove that flashlight?
But man, when you're not shining the light, this bad boy will stay on for days! What, did they just put Energizer batteries in it? Oh. And your journey is then to run through the dark areas, fighting off people with weapons.
It's running.
followed up by an extended story section in the well-lit areas, or an amazing obscure reference. Yeah, so the game was based off Twin Peaks, which I don't know much about apart from what I saw in The Simpsons, but I know it's not where everything is as it seems. It's very obscure with its points. Think artsy and mysterious, which is exactly this game in a nutshell. And I love it. There's just something about this non-conventional method to a game where you don't know what's real or false, and how it really feels like you're in a small town.
From an old fisherman like me, but she's right.
Okay, yeah, I have this thing on.
A largemouth bass, which is what's ready. I gotta go.
And it gets weird where it seems like whatever Alan writes comes to life, but he hasn't written that yet. And it turns out his wife isn't dead, but still kidnapped, and this guy refuses to give us our gun, and this guy is more allergic to dust than an elephant in your attic. And yeah, while it's intriguing going through the story, it was kind of annoying with how long the combat sections are, where it felt never ending at times because you would see something in the distance and have to physically make your way there fighting off regular men with your limited ammo, with them not really changing up gameplay wise, and I just wanted to get to the story sections. But Ramses, I know you're asking, where is the face? You know, the Sam Lake iconic face? They have to include it because it's iconic to the brand. I'm sorry, I cannot keep watching if it doesn't show their face. Well, you should have listened to Sam, who said this 13 years ago. Sam Lake, Max Payne face model and script director on Max Payne, lead designer Alan Wake, appears on a talk show interview. Just took the pic. And then just 5 hours later, no one find this cool? Aww. Don't worry, Sad, I found this super cool. As you have Alan with an interview in-game promoting his book, and they bring out another writer played by Sam Lake, who just sits there for 3 minutes till the end.
For the evening, Alan Wake, Sam Lake. Once more, do the face for his Sam. There it is. And you
just don't get this from the biggest studios. And so one more trip on my journey, because Alan Wake spawned into many games, with Remedy trying to make it into the main franchise. They also did some other game where it mixed live action into a video game to interesting effects. But then in comes Control, which is probably their biggest claim to fame in the modern gaming era. Well, at least for me, who can't play Alan Wake 2 on PC, because my graphics card is like a granddad. I can't get a new one till the old one dies. Also, Epic Games gave Control free to people a while ago, and I played it back then and thought, this doesn't make any sense. And now I played it again and thought, this doesn't make any sense. And then I watched a lore video and thought, wait, Finland's in Europe? So Control is back to a shooting game where you play as Jesse, part of the Federal Bureau of Control, who, let's just say, it's sort of like they cover up and deal with supernatural phenomena. And Jesse tries to join and work out what happened to her past, but instead walks in, meets this janitor.
You need to go to the interview.
Walks in on the CEO, blowing his brains out, then takes his gun, which lets his thoughts enter her head, and now she's got mind powers to fling objects and fly. And this is the game that won awards.
This is gonna be weirder than usual.
I don't know, the driving one was pretty weird. And you go through finding so many details in these hidden files, like did you know the Bureau forbids you from bringing a Nintendo Switch to work? While there's so much care to detail in the game, as you know to expect with this company, with all the magazines being modeled to everything in the environment being able to flung with their mind powers, while the other half of the game has imagery like this. Man, who knew triangles could be so scary? To live action segments with the camera constantly zooming in on Jessie asking questions to herself, but you don't get to choose dialogue options. While you meet typical Americans,
I can't even.
To writing that can go from this.
See, if he was killed by the service weapon, your gun, maybe it's his final thoughts recorded by the bullet in his brain, like a deep space probe sending back data.
To this.
They can fly now.
They fly now!
You can tell they're trying to make the game appeal to more modern gamers, but also their usual fans with all this artistry. And my god, the amount of it here. Like this shot can only be in a video game. It's way too hard for a film or TV show without computer-generated imagery and stuff with all the reflections. It really felt like they put a lot of thought into the presentation to make this stand out from other games at the time, which is their strong point. But on the other hand, it felt like a basic video game in the sense that the enemies, they're just the corrupted people again who mindlessly charge at you. Oh, sometimes they have more health, sometimes with a shield, and you shoot your unlimited ammo gun that has to recharge to just clear through the enemies, where you get fast travel checkpoints, options to change your character's outfits later on, gun customization that is very basic, and a skill tree. Although I'm thankful this time around the combat scenarios are nowhere as long as Alan Wake, and even with the accessibility options, it's like they knew most of their fans wanted to see all the cool weird stuff as opposed to the gameplay, which you know publishers were just looking to help sell their game. Like, whoa, look at this, buy the game! You can launch objects with your mind and fly! Been there, done that. But the game looks really good and the art style is so distinct from their other games, and I really applaud them for sticking to it in a big budget game like this. Honestly, the worst thing that I can say, despite him being more involved in the games and behind the scenes, Sam Lake's face is nowhere to be seen in Control. No! And you know, Sam, little boy, was probably mad at this and personally fixed it by making himself a main character in Alan Wake 2. I swear we'll never stop seeing this face! So yeah, while I knew nothing about Remedy before making this video, and now I know too much! Because did you know Control and Alan Wake are in the shared Remedy universe? Yeah, it's a thing! But I'm glad more of the games are getting recognition they deserve, because I'd rather see this versus a safer option, where big budget games push the experimental stuff and try wackier things, even when it might not work out in the end. Because at least we will always remember this over man who shoots gun again. And now that I made a video on it, hopefully that face can stop haunting my social media feeds for the last few months.
Trojan, Ramses, Magnum, Chic.